Hi everybody, this is Jen from Cookies, Cupcakes, and Cardio.com. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a unicorn rainbow cake. It has rainbow meringues on the top and it is full of color, glitter, and sparkles, everything that a unicorn should be made out of. Let's get started on this magical tutorial. We're going to be using these silver balls, which are flavored like Coca-Cola. They're edible candies. These star sprinkles. Now these are little candies that are just little pearls and they're in all sorts of different colors. These are silver dragees. Now they are just little balls of candy covered in this silver coating. And we're going to be using star and heart little confetti pieces. They're edible confetti. Then across the front here, we've got rainbow meringues that I showed you how to make in a previous video, and I'll link to that in the description box. And we are going to need 1.5 batches of my vanilla cake. We're going to be using a rainbow of colors of the coloring gel, and we're going to need about 2 batches of vanilla buttercream. So I've taken my prepared cake batter and I've divided it into 6 bowls. Now if you're using my recipe, like I said in the recipe ingredients, you need to double the recipe. If you're using like a box mix or your own recipe, you want about 6 cups of cake batter, so each one has about 1 cup. Then I'm going to take my gel paste and I'm going to put probably at least one drop and maybe 2 depending on the darkness of the color. I want to keep this one pastel, so I'm just going to put a small amount of gel into each of the cake batters. And then I'm going to stir them all up, and I'm going to show you the next step after I've got them all mixed. So I've mixed all of my cake batters in the bowls separately. Now I have my orange here and I have an 8-inch round baking pan, and it's lined with parchment paper and it's coated in non-stick spray. And I'm going to take all of my batter and I'm going to put it into the pan here. And you're going to repeat this with all of the different batters. So if you have a whole bunch of different cake pans, obviously this will go faster, but if you don't, it's no big deal and you can just do them one at a time. You'll just need to plan accordingly. So then I'm going to take my angled spatula and I'm just going to spread it out to the side of the pan. And these are going to bake in a preheated oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Now they're going to bake for about 20 to probably 24 minutes was around where mine was perfectly done, and it should be nice and flat and a really thin cake. While your cakes are baking and cooling, you can put together your buttercreams like I have here. So I just divided them up into 6 equal containers like I did with the cake batter, and put 1 to 2 drops of the coloring into each of them and mixed them up and put them in these piping bags. We're going to start to stack the cake now that they are all cooled. So we're going to start stacking the cake with the purple at the bottom. So I've got my purple buttercream here and I'm just going to put a little bit of buttercream on. Now you can put as much or as little as you want in between each of the layers. Some people like to have more for just a little bit more of moisture, but some people don't like to have very much because you just don't want to have too much icing on your cake. So that's totally up to you. And if you're going to be putting lots, make sure you adjust the amount of buttercream that you're making to begin with and do more than I asked you to. And after we've got the purple one covered, now we're going to put on the blue, and we're just going to repeat all the way up till we've got the red on top. Now that I have the cake stacked, I'm going to move on to my red icing layer, and I'm going to use up most of my red here. Now this is going to be the finished top, so I want to make sure I get the top here nice and flat. So I'm just using my spatula and I'm just going to smooth it on around the top of the cake. So I've got all the colors up the side of my cake, and I'm going to be taking this flat edge icing scraper and I'm just going to line it right up into the icing, just in there, so it's kind of touching them all. And then turning my turntable, I'm just going to scrape away all the excess. Now that I have the icing all finished, now I'm going to add the stars and the little dragees and the glitter, the little edible glitter pieces. So everybody knows that wherever a unicorn goes, it leaves behind a beautiful trail of colors and glitter. So I'm just going to cover the entire sides of the cakes, just kind of randomly, sporadically placing everything onto here. And I'm just going to spread them all out and do all of these little additions onto the side. Once I get this one picked up, there we go. and press that in. If you're having trouble like that, getting it to stick to the side of the cake, you can use a little bit of water, or you could even use some piping gel. So now we're going to work on the top now that I have the sides done. So I've just got some drops of piping gel here, and I'm just going to use these to help the little candy stick to the top. You could also use icing if you wanted to. So I'm just going to spread that a bit, and with a paintbrush, and then I'm going to put the little cola balls on top, and then just go around the outside and just make a little pattern using these colored ones. So the final step to decorating the cake is to add your meringues on top. So I went through my meringues and I tried to find similar sized ones, and I'm just going to line them up right against the side. You can attach them with piping gel or water if you want to, but I just don't feel the need to do that. So I'm going to cut into the other second cake that I also made so you can see the inside. So we'll be back to show you the finished product after this. So there you go, everybody, how to make this rainbow unicorn cake. Now you may have noticed my little friend that was peeking around throughout the video. I found this when I was shopping one day, and it's just an actual little unicorn sprinkle. The sprinkles come out of its butt here. I just can't find any that are gonna fit into there, so I thought it'd be the perfect accompaniment to the top of this cake. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial today. If you like all these rainbow ideas, we have a whole playlist devoted to them, so make sure you check that out. See you all again next time.